If you thought the 2020 election fight was loud, buckle up, because Donald Trump just declared war on the very mechanics of how Americans vote. That's not hyperbole. On Monday, the former president took to his own social media platform and announced he will lead a movement to wipe mail-in ballots and voting machines off the map before the 2026 midterms. His weapon of choice? A sweeping executive order already being drafted, he claims, by the best lawyers in the country that would attempt to bar every state from using either method. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump insists, without presenting a shred of evidence, that voting machines are highly inaccurate and more expensive than old-school watermarked paper ballots. He also repeated the long-debunked myth that the United States is the only country that lets citizens vote by mail. Reality check. Nations from Canada to Switzerland have mailed ballots for decades, and the U.S. has done so since the Civil War. And this is the part most people miss. Even if an executive order lands on the Resolute desk tomorrow, legal scholars across the spectrum say it would be dead on arrival. Why? Because the Constitution hands election rules to Congress and the states, not the White House. Michael Morley, an election law professor at Florida State University, put it bluntly to NPR. There's really nothing the executive branch can do on its own in terms of direct mandates. UCLA's Richard Hassan echoed that sentiment, noting any real change would require new federal legislation, something Capitol Hill has shown little appetite for. Still, the mere threat is enough to send election officials scrambling. Imagine every county clerk in America suddenly told to scrap drop boxes, reprogram tabulators, or reprint millions of paper ballots, all while primary season looms. Matt Germer of the R Street Institute warns the logistical dominoes could be staggering. Lawsuits, rushed state legislation, longer polling place lines, and a frantic hunt for new voting locations and volunteers. Barbara Smith Warner of the National Vote at Home Institute goes further, arguing the goal isn't really to abolish mail voting overnight. It's to destabilize public confidence in the entire process. After all, Trump himself urged supporters to use mail ballots in 2024, yet Democrats remain far more likely to choose that option. The partisan gap has only widened as GOP-led states tighten rules, creating a feedback loop of suspicion and restriction. So, is this a genuine policy push or a political grenade designed to keep election denialism in the headlines? And if states refuse to comply, as they almost certainly will, what happens next? Courts clogged with emergency filings? A fresh round of Stop the Steal rallies? Or could Congress step in with bipartisan reforms that actually strengthen rather than upend the system? Your turn. Do you think mail-in voting is a convenience that boosts turnout or a vulnerability that invites fraud? Should Washington have any say in how states run their elections? Or is that a slippery slope toward federal overreach? Drop your hottest take below. Agree, disagree, or bring receipts. The comment section is open, and the debate is just getting started.